All right. Thanks everyone for joining us for tonight's Glacier E-Clinic. We have here Roger Holmes, who's the head coach of Dublin High School, and he's going to be presenting on using the spread rugby punt to eliminate returns and pressure on your punter.
Welcome, gentlemen. Glad to have the opportunity to go over with you our rugby punt, and then our second lecture tonight will be our kickoff return. As coach, as I mentioned, my name is Roger Holmes. I'm from Dublin High School in Dublin, Georgia. I've been here for 17 years and enjoyed spending time with the Glaciers, going around and talking at their clinics and stuff. So it was an honor to ask them to ask me to be here tonight. So we're going to jump into this. Please feel free to ask questions. It's kind of hard to do this and not have an audience sitting in front of you and talking to a computer. But we're going to do the best job we can, and hopefully you'll get something out of it that will be beneficial to you guys. You got my address and things up there, and also you can reach me at southeastwingtclinic.com. That's our website. So if you need to reach me after we get done, that's the way to get me. It's southeastwingtclinic.com. Rugby punt, guys. We're we've always had what I consider to be very sound, solid kicking game. Then all of a sudden we ran into a situation several years ago. We didn't have a punter. We were going out on the practice field, and I think we were averaging about 20 yards of punt in the air. And we knew that we were losing some very valuable field position, or going to. And through a clinic and then some friends, I got to know a gentleman by the name of Brian Gallagher from up in New Jersey. And Brian and his dad and I got together, and they introduced me to this rugby punt. I'm going to tell you the things that's been good, bad, and indifferent for us. Some things that we tweaked it to make it a little bit better for us as we've gone along. And again, if you have questions, certainly feel free to ask. The reasons we wanted to go, we're using the rugby punt. It forces the punt return team to stay in a punt safe mode. We'll talk about our formation here in a minute, but if they're going to cover our eligible receivers, put a guy back, really they've only got 5 people they can bring with pressure. And if they really want to take a chance, they can bring 6. And we just feel like that that's taken away a lot of the rush and things that we do. The other thing, our normal punt, we felt like the ball had to be gone in 2.1 seconds when we were in our previous punt. Then if you didn't get a good hang time on your punt, then the returner had an opportunity to make a big play. The rugby punt allows us to eat up more time between the time of the snap when we punt football, and we've got our cover guys usually are downfield waiting on the ball when it gets there, and it helps us eliminate returns from the opposing team. Now we obviously 2 or 3 times a year kicking the ball on the line drive with it rolling and bouncing funny on the ground. It forces a return man to get out of the way of the punt, or a lot of times they mishandle it, or it'll hit one of their cover guys that's trying to take care of our coverage guys down the field. It ends up hitting one of them in the back about twice a year. Ends up being a turnover for us. And it also, for us, it increased our net punt by about 10 yards. Our net punting average is about 36 to 37 yards every year since we put this thing in, and that's valuable field position. Eliminating returns 2 years ago, we gave up 3 yards in punt return yardage. So all of that's the hidden yardage in the kicking game, obviously, that can pay big dividends for us. Here's some problems we ran into when we first instituted the rugby punt. Number one, it's so different. Determining how your opponents are going to defend that punt, and then being able to practice the fake prior to the game and make your decisions was always tough because it was new, it was a little unorthodox, and you never knew exactly how people were going to line up to it. We wanted to identify how our opponent was defending the punt so we could make fake calls during the game. And this next part we haven't been able to do yet, and that's develop a punter that can go up to his opposite kicking foot and get the ball off with a desirable punt. but I know a lot of the colleges now, they're getting to where they're going down and getting these Australian kickers and that type of thing to be able to execute the rugby punt going both ways. These are things that we consider to be a must. And I was told these when we put it in, but the punter has to be willing to run the football when he has the opportunity. We're going to show you 4 or 5 clips here at the end where our punters are taking advantage of that. And you've got to be willing to let them take that chance. And you also have to understand that every now and then it might fail, and we're going to look at the clip of that. But I think how we approach it as a coach, we can't be beating this punter down now if he makes a decision and it doesn't work out exactly the way we thought it should. Because if you do, you'll take the aggressiveness away. All of a sudden, the people again are not going to honor those fakes, and they'll be able to put more pressure on them. The ball, when you punt it, we want to make sure we keep the ball between the numbers in the sideline. We do have a punt call where we kick the ball to our left, but it's when they've over-adjusted and they have a single returner back there and he's cheated all the way over outside the hash, anticipating our normal punt. Also, the ball should be on the ground at least 30 yards down the field. You want a low line drive kick, and again, we're going to show you all this as we get through, but these are things we think are must. The slot receiver to the punter's side, which we're right-footed. All of my punters have been right-footed. So we have twins receivers to the right. The one that's the slot receiver, we want to make sure that he's lined up on the numbers. We learned this the hard way in the beginning, because if you let him tighten his split down, then the guy that's walked away to cover him can all of a sudden come back down inside when the motion starts right before the snap and get into our punter's face too quick. So regardless of where the football is on the field, we're always going to have the slot receiver on the numbers to the right. We think it's important that your punter take the snap and he works parallel to the line of scrimmage while he's trying to make his determination whether to run, pass, or punt football. As the punter kicks the ball, he has to finish with his feet pointed straight down the field. Now, he's running parallel to the line of scrimmage, then he's going to adjust his angle. When he punts the football, you want his feet straight down the field. The next thing, which is huge, make sure that the player that is your left tackle in this formation always has an eligible number, so you can have a tackle eligible in this fake. Your punter is 10 yards deep, which makes it a scrimmage kick formation, which in turn voids the number requirements of having 5 men on the line of scrimmage. So we usually have a fullback type kid or a tight end that we use as that backside tackle. Our rugby punt alignment, here it is. You can see our slot receiver, our wide receiver to the right, is going to align 2 yards from the sideline. The slot receiver, we talked about, to the punter's foot, which is our right-footed punter, he's always going to align on the numbers, okay? The wide receiver on the left aligns on the numbers, so we're making them cover the width of the field. The guard and tackles have a 1 foot split. The wing back is 1 yard deep, and he's 1 foot outside the tackle on each side. And as I mentioned, your punter needs to be 10 yards deep because that makes him a protected player. It keeps him from being able to take him out. Our left tackle, okay, the offensive line protection. We'll start with the left tackle. The left tackle is going to step inside at a 45-degree angle, okay, shutting off the backside B gap. It's like a step and hinge on a pass protection, but it is important that he steps into the line of scrimmage, securing the B gap and forcing whoever's there to go outside of him. The left guard is going to take the same step. He secures the backside A gap, but forcing any rusher to go outside. Same type of protection that we actually use on our sprint out pass game. The center, okay, he's going to snap the ball on a command. We ask him to press with his left hand into the backside A gap. While that's happening, I'm stepping with my right foot parallel to the line of scrimmage. We're trying to step on the inside or the outside instep or outside part of the foot of the right guard. Remember, it's a 1 foot split. So if your center has his feet up underneath his shoulders, when he steps, he's not overextending, and he's slide stepping to his right, and I'm punching with my left hand back in the backside of the gap. Right guard, right tackle. This is assuming, again, now we've got a right-footed punt. The right guard and right tackle are, again, going to both press with their left hand, helping secure inside gap, and they're stepping with their right foot, okay, parallel to the line of scrimmage to the foot of the guy outside of it. The center, right guard, right tackle, we want all of them to keep their shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage. And then the minute they all step, punch, and lock, we want them to start working their butt, trying to, like they're doing a reach block, and they're all working their butt, and they'll actually end up forming a curved, punt-looking wall that is locked together, shoulder to shoulder. Play side wingback, 1 foot outside, 1 yard off the line. We ask him, you're going to step forward with your inside foot, okay, to cut off the tackle. You don't sit and take it on. Some of the clips you'll see, our guy doesn't do a great job of pressing up to that offensive tackle. But as soon as you engage with that first defender from the C gap out, then again, we start working our butt to the right, trying to stay parallel to the line of scrimmage, and eventually building that wall that we're looking for. The backside wingback. As this guy starts across in motion, it is a shuffle motion across. When he hits the outside foot of the guard, he's going to make a ready call, so whatever your call wants to be, and ours is set, okay? All he's telling the long snapper now is when you're ready, you can snap the football, okay? Shoulders are square to the line of scrimmage. We motion him all the way across, and if everything is perfect, he should be aligned 1 foot outside of the right wingback, okay? As I'm motioning across, big coaching point, as he's motioning across, his eyes are outside. He is looking for that edge defender trying to come off the edge. He's disguised. He's walked away like he's lined up on top of number 2. A lot of times people will bail an inside linebacker late to take our number 2 and try to run a guy off the edge. So he looks edge first, no edge. Now he'll work straight back up the field and help secure the edge with the right wingback. Coverage lanes, okay? Rugby punt protection, everybody, you see the step hinge on the backside, punch with the inside hand, and slide step and work the tail, okay? Go back, let's talk about number 1 and number 2 to the right, the wide receiver and the slot back. The wide receiver is aligned 2 yards from the sideline, and we ask him to stay 2 yards from the sideline. He is totally, his number 1 ultimate responsibility is contain. Never allow the return man to get head up or outside of him in any situation. Keep the thing turned back inside. Our slot receiver, we ask him when the ball is snapped, go straight to the return man. It's our belief the returner is going to go to where the football is punted. He's the only guy back there that has an opportunity to return the football, obviously. So what we're asking him, as I release, I want to take an outside release. We've had them go underneath before and got pinned, which is a no-no. They have to stay outside, and they want to work themselves to break down right in front of wherever the return man is. If he's not approaching the ball, there's not a problem, okay? And if he will be there and break down right in front of it, a lot of times there's a distraction, the ball's on the ground, it's bouncing funny, their punter will just get a return guy, will just get out of the way, or sometimes they mishandle it and they get a turnover. The split end on the backside, we ask him, he is the left contain man. We want him, as I get off and release, I'm aiming for a point that's as deep as the returner, and I'm going to set up and force the return man, if he starts back across the field, to have to turn the thing up somewhere in the middle of the field. I think those three guys are very, very important in our coverage. Now, after everybody is stepped and shuffled, our coverage lanes for the rest of the people. Okay, the left halfback that shuffles across, he's looking for a spot that's 5 yards from the sideline or 2 yards past the bottom of the numbers. The right wing back, we tell him we want him to work for the top of the numbers. So that would be 9 yards from the sideline. The right tackle is working for a spot that's evenly spaced between the top of the numbers and the hash mark. So there's 9 yards between the top of the numbers and the hash. He's going to be 5.5 right down the middle. The right guard, his job is to work up the right hash mark. The center, 5 yards inside the hash. Left guard is working for a spot 2 yards left of the middle of the field. And our left tackle works for a spot that's 2 yards inside the hash. Now, again, you see the landing zone. We want the ball, okay, to be on the ground. We're looking to have it on the ground before it goes 30 yards. And we want the ball between the numbers and the sideline as the aiming point. If we get it there, okay, we only have to cover 2/3 of the field. It reduces the space in our coverage lanes, and as long as our left end does his job and gets to the point midfield and forces the guy back up inside, we haven't had a problem. The punter is the safety on the right side of the field for us. We mentioned the landing zone, okay? And we've talked about each one of the guys already as far as where their coverage lanes are. But the landing zone, very, very important. All right. Obviously, as we get into the film, we'll be able to answer some questions for you, I hope. And now, the thing that makes the rugby punt so dangerous and really so safe is the fact that you're looking at all the fakes. You know, I want to go back to this screen and let's just talk for a second. Somebody's got to cover the wide receiver, that's one. Somebody's got the slot is 2. Somebody's got the weak side split in is 3. You'd also have 2 quick eligible receivers and those 2 wing backs, which are 4 and 5. And obviously, as we motion the guy across, now we've got 4 receivers on the play side. So if they're covering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the returner is back here, they only have 5 guys to blame. And we've got a total of 7 guys to protect. Again, that's a huge advantage in not getting pressure on the punt. So with that being said, if they're going to ignore one of your hot receivers, then you've got to be willing to take the fakes that they give you. And last year, and actually we're going to look at some of them, they were all runs. Our punter pulled it down and ran for all of them. But we were 5 for 5 on 4th downs last year with rugby fakes. The first fake that you got to put in is nothing more than a hot receiver fake. The wide receiver to the right, slot receiver to the right, they're coached as I release down the field. If the guy that's lined up on me to cover me goes to attack the punter, hook up immediately. To us, we coach this like it's a 2-on-1 fast break in basketball. If the strong safety runs off with number 2, but the corner off the edge comes, now the number 1 receiver will hitch up at 5 yards, and all we do is we play pitch and catch. To be quite frank with you, that's happened twice, okay, in the 7 years that we've run this rugby punt, and I do not have a clip of it on here. It wasn't available on our thing, but hot call, and your punter throw the football. The second fake that we like, okay, is our flood scheme. What happens is, as we mentioned, 1 and 2 are here. They run off and they take the corner and the strong safety with them. Our guy who's motioning across Nobody comes with him in motion, okay? So as soon as that happens, this is the fake that we feel we have a chance with. So what we'll do is we're motioning across. He'll step like he's going to block, and then he simply dumps into the flat. And if nobody's run with him to cover him, obviously you dump it to him. It's a nice 5 or 6 yard throw. Turns into a nice 12 or 14 yard gain pretty quick. Again, you need to teach your 2 wide receivers. If your guy leaves you, then that means he may be picking the guy that's going to pick the guy up in the flat. So you just hook up at that time, okay? Here's an example of the first rugby fake punt we ever ran. This was the first year we did it. And if you notice, the slot receiver is not on the numbers. That was a thing that we did not handle perfectly when the first year we put it in. Obviously now that's why I put it on the must, because we had some problems with him just splitting the difference, not going all the way to the numbers. But you're going to see the ugly. It's 4th and 9. We're going into the boundary. Now, what we had been coaching this punter at this time was, if you get this wall built and you get the edge, you take it. Okay, and this kid was a soccer player. He'd never been hit in his life. And we saw it, and we told him, if you get the edge, take it. Well, the problem was, if you look at inside linebacker, because we're going into the boundary, was able to get to the edge and tackle the punter short of his first down. And he took a big hit, and his mama didn't like it. And at the end of the day, my point is we did not jump on that kid now and get on him hard, because he'd be gun shy. This is another one of our rugby fakes right here. This is talk to you about the tackle eligible, making sure you've got an eligible number on the back side. As we lined up and looked, we knew that they were not motioning across and covering our wing back, and they had the guy up on the line of scrimmage bringing. Now, this wasn't a good throw. If it had been, it probably would have gone to the house, but it did convert for a first down, put us in scoring position, and we were able to obviously line up and go ahead and get points. But this is the fake to the tackle eligible on the backside, and we'll have another look at it later on. We got the edge. Now the punter, here's the one that I want you to see. It's not perfectly executed, but the punter got the edge. Okay. Now look at our 2 guys up top. When their guys leave them, they hooked up exactly where they needed to. Now, it was poor execution on our part, but you can see right now where all they had to do was dump the football, and we'd be in pretty good shape right there for sure. Might have ended up scoring. So there's another example on the fake of what we're trying to look at. Let me pull up here. I want to go to a little bit of video and give you a few better looks of some of the rugby punt stuff. If y'all bear with me for just a second. Not sure what's happening here, man. Well, let's see if these fakes load up like they're supposed to. All right, I apologize. Let me just get back to the rugby punt. Again, I apologize. I don't know what happened right there. Maybe they'll pull up for us here at the end. We'll just take a look. Some of these are good, bad, and ugly. Again, all these clips were from the first year that we put the rugby punt stuff in. Checking to make sure that everybody's set with motioning across. Our rugby punter on that one does not do a great job of getting outside. I felt like that he's got to attack the edge more than he's doing on this one. And there's your negative. If you punt the ball into the middle of the field, you're going to end up with issues. That is, without question, a big negative. Guys, I'm going to try to get back here and see if I can find out what's happening on this thing, because I've got some better clips that I want you to be able to see. Any of you guys out there that are on here know what I might be doing wrong. If y'all want to hit me, uh-oh, here we go. Something might be fixing to go here. I don't know what happened, but we're going to see if we can get you some looks. All right, here's something that we've added this year for the first time. If you notice, we're punting from this right hash, and we told you already that slot receiver that's on the numbers, the number 2 guy from him is a threat, especially into the boundary. So what we have done is we have brought the split end from the left, brought him over, and put him in an unbalanced formation when we're punting from the right hash. It gives us a better edge setter. His rule is to block the first man lined up on him to inside. Once I block, now I'll get back across the field, okay? He's going to work across the field to make sure that he stays in his coverage lane, okay? So let's take a look at this one. Everybody else is identical. They do exactly the same thing. Now it gave us a chance to pin. The rugby punter is outside, and we get a nice rugby punt down the field there for about 50 yards, right on the sideline, right where we want it, and couldn't ask for a much better clip. Here it is from the end zone. Maybe we can see the protection a little bit. He should be making his call when he's there. You can see the snap is out, and by the time the punter's got the ball, he's where he needs to be. Coaching point on this one, if I'm coaching my guys up, we're unbalanced. So we know we're blocking down. So 23, eyes should always go where? The guy that's motioning across should be looking for the edge blitzer. And I told you a minute ago, this is some of the scheme that we get now. People want to bring the edge blitzer and take the inside guy and bail him, trying to bait us in to throw in the hot route. Okay? Hunter does a good job of getting his feet pointed down the field like we talked about, pin the ball on the sideline for no return. It's a pretty good look for us right there, what we're trying to get done. Here's one coming out of our own end zone. This guy that split in up top, he got fired after this week. His job is to line up on the numbers. Decent job. We'd like to pin the outside shoulder if we can. We can see that the slot receiver took an inside release, which is a no-no, but as long as he gets back to the returner, we're in pretty good shape. I think there's a good clip here of the step and hinge on the backside. It was a little bit lazy out of his guard, but it step inside a little bit heavier and get the hinge. We got our butt working for the reach blocks, and we're in pretty good shape here. Pinning the ball on the sideline again. It just eliminates all the returns, man, that we usually have to take a look at. All right. Now, there's an occasion when we know, if you look here, we've got 3 guys coming off the field edge. We're not going to be able to block them all, okay? We're not going to be able to handle all 3 guys if they bring them. So what we've done is we've made a call, which for us was lucky. Means we're going to our left. Now we don't sprint out. The punter simply punts the ball back across the field. The return man is not anticipating it, and we're right back on the edge where we wanted to be. Here it is again. 3 guys off the edge. Don't run into the punt. Don't run over there because we don't have enough to block all 3. We make a lucky call and punt things back across the field, and again, 0 return yards. Exactly what we're looking for. Take their punt returner away from them, take the pressure off our punt. Again, into the right hash. Pinned the ball right on the sideline. I think that one ended up being a 37-yard punt, okay, which was huge. Here's the look at it again. I thought we did a good job on the step hinge on this backside. That's exactly what we're looking for. We're working now to build the wall on the front side. We got to reach. Punter can continue to press now. If you see the lane, you're fixing to see some pretty good ones. He pulls down and runs. And I don't know, he may have had a safe call in that one right there. Let's just get the ball out and not take any chances. Didn't like this one being in the middle of the field, obviously, but you get a good look at our protection and stuff, and that was really the reason I wanted you to have this clip. Tackled overextended, but he worked his tail back. Now, if we can get this thing to run backwards, I think my punter does a pretty good job here of getting the thing. You notice, look where their punt returner is. He's only 15 yards off the ball, so there's nobody back there except a wide guy over here where the numbers are. So he put it straight down the middle of the field. And unfortunately for us, it rolled about 1 yard too far. another somewhere close to a 50-yard punt. Contained man wasn't great, but he got to where he needed to be. I'm going to, what I want to do right here is I want to pull up a couple of rugby fakes for you, where you can see our young man pull it down and take off. There's the scene that we're looking for right here. They open the door for him. You see the edge guys we come across, we're looking to kick out. Any edge blitzer, it's 4th and 5. We get the edge set, there's your wall getting built. We kick out number 1, and the kid pulls it down, picks up first down, big play for us. We had to finally get to where we gave that kid a punt safe look. No question. All right, this was the team that you saw a minute ago that had the 3 guys coming off the play side edge. I showed you that look a minute ago. Well, after we knew that's what they were doing, we brought the split end over to an unbalanced look, and now that gave us an additional blocker so we can handle everything they have coming off the edge. You look, this is 4th and 8. This is a region championship game, and 4th series of the game. So it's on the end of the game a little bit, and I was a little bit nervous that this kid pulled this off. But again, folks, this is not called. You have to give this kid the freedom when they give it to him to take it. Now, obviously, you can call it, but for us, it's one of those things where the young man has to make his own choice. As you watch him come across, remember the unbalanced receiver's rule is block first man over the inside. The guy that's motioning across is always looking for the outside guy. So as we look and see how this thing opened up, it basically is a power O play. We block down, we kick out, the punter goes to punt, they're running off with you 2 gunners. You step hinge on the backside and cut off any backside pressure. Let it become a big play and really a momentum changer in the game. Turned out to be huge for us. Same look, a little bit tighter angle. And that's the only 2, I guess, that we had on that view for you. Guys, a couple of things I think that we need to talk about that maybe that I haven't emphasized enough to you right now. When we're running the tackle eligible, okay, obviously, how's he become eligible? Well, for us, what we do is the slot receiver aligns on the line of scrimmage and the left split end is off, okay? And that in itself is how we get that done. The next thing that I thought I had that fake on here for you guys. Anytime they only have 2 men on the back side, okay? If there are 2 men on the back side, then your punter has the freedom to take off to his left. Obviously, we make a call. The tackle's job is reach the 5. The guard pulls the lead. The split end will take off straight down the field. And when he gets to a point, if his guy leaves him, then he's going to hook up. Okay? I can get to that play real quick, and I'm not going to bore you a lot, but I do want you to see it. I know where it is because this punter had it actually on his huddle highlight film. So let me pull them up right quick, and we'll find it right quick here, and you'll see it. And then we'll take any questions that you guys have and try to clear up anything that I've done a very poor job of explaining over this video here. But I think you'll get a message of what we're talking about off of this one. I thought I'd save the dadgum thing for you today, and evidently I did a poor job. So here you see the rugby punt alignment. And if you look, when we bump the motion, they only have 2 men on the backside. If they only put 2 on the backside, okay, then you've got to be willing and able to take that fake. So what you're going to see, we knew they would bump with a motion. Everything is good. So the tackle reaches the 5 and the guard pulls the lead. The split end. When his guy left, he hooked up. Okay? So that gives you the guy to dump the football to. But that is one of those musts that they told me, Coach Gallagher, when we had this, when they put only 2 to the backside, you've got to be willing to turn him loose, especially to the wide side of the field. So I hope that we've given you about all of our tricks that we do. I hope you understand what we're trying to get done. And anybody got any questions, man, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them for you. Anybody got any questions for me, guys? I think you can type them in if you got some on the Q&A. But again, be certainly glad to answer anything that you got.
All right, coaches, just a quick reminder, you can send in any of your questions just using the Q&A function of Zoom. There's a little folder with a Q on it. It'll be on the bottom of your screen if you're on a computer and at the top of your screen if you're on mobile. And then Coach Holmes is also scheduled to start his next session of tonight, which is speaking about kickoff return. That's scheduled in about 15 minutes here. So we'll probably stay on the line. Coach, you're welcome to share anything additional that you're just thinking about, going through your mind. And then we actually have a question here, but we'll be starting the next session at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock Mountain.
Punter's depth. Question was, what is our punter's depth? Punter's depth is 10 yards deep, Coach. That is imperative because you want your punter to be protected. If you put him at 10 yards deep, it now becomes a scrimmage formation, which also allows us to use an eligible number at our left tackle's alignment because of the scrimmage kick. Then you don't have to deal with the number, having 5 guys on the line of scrimmage with eligible numbers. So hope that gets you what you need. And anybody else got a question, man, I apologize if I bored you to death. It's kind of hard to do these things and not give you a chance to ask questions. All right, so what counters would you respond to a wide 5 versus the motion you showed in the last clip? The wide 5 back to the, I guess you're talking about, to the single receiver side. Okay, Coach, I think you're talking about a wide 5 back to the side where the 5 technique is. For us, We don't do it. I can tell you the answer that I got from the guys from New Jersey is they'll run counter tray. They'll block down, they'll take their backside guard and the right wing back. They'll pull the guard and kick out, and they'll take the right wing back and lead through. Your punter simply takes 2 steps like he's going the rugby punt to the right, and then he'll turn and come back and run counter tray to the left. Hopefully that answers what you're asking me, Coach. Anybody else, man? Fire away at me, guys, if you got some questions. I know that there's probably some things that I didn't answer that you want to know, and I'm not trying to hide anything from you, that's for sure. All right, men, I think I'm going to take about 5 or 6 minute break here and get everything set up for you guys to go on the kickoff return. And hopefully, again, there'll be something there that you can get. If you're trying to reach me or you've got questions, you can send your emails or go online and look at our DVDs and stuff that we've got on our website. It's southeastwingtclinic.com, and you can reach me there at southeastwingtclinic@gmail.com.